Is there anybody here feel like me? Now spank it. Are you ready to go? What about you, sophomore? Tell me, are you ready to go? Need it? Tell me, are you ready to go? Robin, Terrence, big time. What about you, A-Tron? What about you, A-Tron? Oh, you better play them drums like you need a boy. I'm on my journey. I won't trade nothing for this journey. Lord, it gets hard. Oh, but I won't. And I won't my journey. Let me say it again, y'all. But those of you that didn't hear me, I got to tell you that I'm on my journey. Wait 1 minute. Let me take a little further. I won't trade nothing. No, I won't. Not my money. Not my wealth. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world? Shine on
My God.
and lose his soul.
But in Arabic, that word will become Allah. Same word. Just a change in the vowel system. And that's how we have. So then when you look into Latin and you look into Spanish, they are just another dialects of Arabic and Hebrew. And Hebrew come from the Syriac languages, which came from what is called the Ugaric languages, or what we call Africa today. All languages, that's how these people, these foreigners that came over here, were able to really communicate with one another, because over there on that continent, the real continent, not one of the separate peninsulas, but everybody on that continent, all of their languages coincide. Even when you look in the China language, and in the Japanese, and the Russian language, and the German language, when you look in those languages, you start to notice that a lot of the characters or the letters are shaped alike. Well, it was the same thing over here, even though they try to make it say that we didn't have written language, we was a lie. One thing they did was they tried to extinguish and put out any avenue or light or any signs of civilization here. So what they would do, they went on a campaign of blowing up our schools, our libraries, our hospitals, anything, our law system. They went about to set aside to destroy all of this stuff. So then we wouldn't have no signs of a civilization past here. So then they can put out that lie, talking about everybody walking over here butt naked, smoking around, running around on top of the ground, just smoking weed and getting high on the peace pipe. But that's a lie. It's a real big lie. So the Hitachi language was a language that was spoken mainly from southern or middle Georgia over up until cross little parts of Alabama. It was just a little strip of Alabama, but once you got over on the east side, on the west side of Alabama, it started to kind of opening up a little bit, had a small track. But then when you got up in the Tennessee, around like the Memphis area, or a little farther back than Memphis, right? But when you come down out the foothills over there, when the land started leveling out a little bit, over there around, probably around somewhere like the Jackson, Tennessee area. And even the patch even had parts of Louisiana, right there where they tell you the two Mississippi rivers The two rivers that form to make the Mississippi, I think they're the Ohio and what's the other? But anyway, one of them is red and one of them is blue. One of them, the one with the red, was some of those Egyptologists try to make you think, talking about this is the Egypt or the West. This ain't no goddamn Egypt. And see, what they always try to do is coincide something over yonder with something over here, and try to make you think the folks over there come over here and civilize the folks over here. But Do-Right, you keep listening to Do-Right, he's going to show you how everything was acting in reverse. The people from over here went over there and civilized their asses. That's the bottom line. They get mad about it, and you know, because they're trying to say their new tape series and say their new book about Africa, like not Elijah Muhammad, but like Malachi York used to say, 2 books white folk love to write: cookbooks and books about Egypt and Egyptology. They can't cook and they don't know nothing about Egypt. And I ain't talking about white folk that we've been calling white folk. I'm talking about rich folk or controlling folk. So they always try to make you think and look back over the water for civilization. But when we carry the civilization to them, when we fed their ass from him, like we still about feeding the world from him, right here in the Americas, and especially throughout the Southeast, through the vast rivers and creek system that we had. It was very agriculture. It used to be like swampy land until they started building all these dams to back up the water to build their lakes. And a lot of areas they just went in and put wood and log and cut all the land down, cut all the trees down, taking the rainforest effect away from here. Because the Southeast used to be like a rainforest. And so the Noble Drew Ali man said that you used to took 2 men just to hold one little thing of grapes, because they were so big. You find that grapes need a lot of water to grow. So most grapes grow good in rainy places. And that was coming out the Southeast, down here. But the Hitachi language was spoken normally in Middle Georgia. We spoke the Hitachi language. And then our brothers and sisters to the east of us, the Yamasee and the Savannah, they really were the same people, because Savannah is not talking about the city of Savannah, Georgia, when you hear Savannah Indian. Savannah is like a coastline type area. So everything that was, all our brothers and sisters that was out on the coastline, the Gullah, those on St. Simon Island, them down around St. Augustine, even all the way down to Miami, starting from Southern Virginia all the way down to Miami, these was really the Savannah's Indians, because they lived on these Savannahs, if you understand what Do-Right trying to say. They were the same people. Now they spoke what is called Yamasee, I think. That was their language. And then the Creek and Muskogee really was the same language. They were the same language. It's just that what would happen was the Spanish called our people Yamasee. They were talking about all people that was over here. Actually, right here in Middle Georgia, where we at, in the Macon, Sandyville, Putnam County area, at one time, this was called Florida. This was part of the Spanish territory, which the Spanish called Florida, meaning flower. Because it's a very pretty thing, like we used to have a bunch of wildflower growing, like the honeysuckles. You'll find them in the honeysuckles used to get real big. And they used to have a lot of juice in them back in the day. They were real big. They weren't like them little bitty things you get today. They were real big because it take a lot of water for them to grow too. Wild berries, anything that melons, Oh, but the only thing different about the melon, a lot of the melon plant, the Moors brought him. The Moors brought they melons, or the Cherokee. The Cherokee really brought the melons in. Like the watermelons and the cantaloupes, those are melons too. Eggplants, no, that's still another form of a melon. But anything that took a lot of water to grow, because it was like a rainforest around these parts at that time. And because of our vast river and creek system, it allowed us to transport a lot of goods and services back and forth on the waterways, because the waterways acted like the interstate or the road system today. See, like right here in time, before they built the dam and made the lakes and cliff, you had what they called the Little River. And the Little River ran off the Ocony River up there around Jasper County, Butts County, just south of Jackson, Georgia. Up there around where Lake Juliet at now. And that river ran from the Ocony all the way over to what it called the Ocony River. And they called it that. The Little River, like a stream that put water from the Ocony over into the Ocony River. And it's still, that water still didn't run into the Ocony River in Milledgeville. It ran into what was termed as the Beaver Creek. What we see today as the river running through Milledgeville is not the real river. That once was called the Beaver Creek until they backed up the water. But the real river used to run right through Car Station Road, back down through Lynn, come out down in Deep Step, and then shoot back into the hard circle in a bank like a snake and come into Ocony, Georgia, down there around between Ocony, Georgia, is between Sandyville and Milledgeville. Pretty much about the halfway point between the cities of Sandyville and Milledgeville. And Ocony was the head city at that time, because that city was named after the lake, after the river, and it was the main city in this structure, Ocony. And actually what we know today as Milledgeville, Georgia, is the city of Ocony. Because between the river and what we call the Beaver Creek, there was real fertile land. And that was like farmland. Because the rivers and stuff would overflow. And it made it good to grow rice and corn and stuff. You plant your corn stalk, they get up about a foot high. It don't matter if they get flooded, if the ground gets flooded a little bit, it ain't gonna kill them off. It just gonna help them to grow stronger. The soil get all moist and come in